Well, hey everybody, thanks for being with us today. And I'll tell you, week 3 has just flown on by, but I tell you, we're starting to see some of the big changes that we've been looking for. First off, on the crop side, pretty much all of the corn has been shelled around here. I mean, there's some isolated places where there's still some corn in, but for the most part, all the corn's out, and everybody that deer hunts knows that that's just a plus if you're a hunter. So that's one big change that's took place. The second big change is the weather. I mean, if you can see how I'm dressed today, it's really cold here today. It's in the high 30s, and in the next couple nights it's supposed to be down in the 20s, so that's really got the deer up on their feet. And to be honest with you, we've been seeing a lot of bucks on their feet, a lot of little bucks. Me and Cindy went last night, saw a couple little bucks on their feet. Now, one of those is going to be really nice if he makes it. And we finally got the break we were looking for this week and saw a mature buck on his feet, and got a heck of a story to tell about this deer. And you know, some hunts about particular deer just wind up being hunts, but when there's really a story behind a deer, that makes it really, really special. And we have this particular deer we've been watching for a few years, and we call him Hightower. He's just a real narrow, tall buck, real massive buck, got a lot of junk. And this deer's probably 6.5 years old. We've been watching him for a long time. Richard's been hunting this deer for a long time, and we've never seen this deer in daylight, either on trail cameras, driving down the road, or in the hunting situation. Never. And this deer walks up at 40 yards on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, and neither of us could believe it. Now, the bad news is, and I want to talk to you about Murphy's Law for a minute, because it just seems, you know, big bucks, old mature bucks are hard enough to kill as it is, but it just seems that around here getting that on video is quite another thing. And a good example was Cindy's deer. We just didn't happen to go with her that day, and she kills this gigantic buck here right behind the house, and we don't have that on video. Hightower's kind of the same thing. Although I was in the stand with Richard, it was kind of low light. You know, cameras pick up a lot more light than the human eye does, so it was kind of low light. The area we're hunting back here is super duper thick, and we actually had 3 bucks come in before Hightower did, and I barely got footage of one of those little bucks. And when Hightower come in, I tried to get this deer on camera, and he was slipping in and out of this cover. I just couldn't get him, and at the last minute, I just hit the record button and got a few seconds of the deer running off after the shot. But I will say this is the kind of buck, after you've been hunting a buck like this for so long, that you don't pass up an opportunity on, video or no video. So Richard took the shot. It was a good shot, and I'll let him tell the story from the tree stand from here.
Folks, I apologize for this. As Murphy's Law would have it, and it just, I'm telling you, spur of the moment. We didn't get any of this on film, unfortunately. It happened so doggone fast. But you absolutely, I mean, in my neck of the woods, can't pass up an opportunity on a buck like what I just shot. We're sitting here, folks, and I had 3 small bucks move through. Did you get any footage in there? Ooh. Okay, you got a little footage of the 3 small bucks that moved through. So I'm watching them, and they ease off, okay? I start looking around for, you know, just because the deer moved off, and all of a sudden Dad goes, "Oh my Lord." He said, "Here comes a giant through the brush." And I turned around and I saw this deer. And it's a deer I've been after for 4 years. We call it Hightower. It's a 6.5-year-old buck at least. And it's an absolute giant. It's a big old high inside. I got all kinds of trail camera pictures of him this year. He's got tons of trash coming off his faces. Big kicker coming off his back too on his right side. Giant buck, and he comes down through this valley like an old buck would, slipping through the thickest part of it, and I had one hole to get a shot on this buck. And by the way, let me tell you another something about this buck. This is the first time I have ever seen this deer in daylight, driving down the road, next to these fields, anything. He's never seen in daylight. and he comes down, and I know he's gonna step in that one hole. I arranged it as quick as I could, got ready, drew back, and he stepped into it. And when he stepped and I grabbed it and stopped him, his shoulder was right behind the tree like this, which gave me everything behind his shoulder. And I put it there, and it absolutely plastered him. It might be a tick back, maybe like liver, if anything, front, because like I said, his shoulder was blocked, but it was a good center mass shot. He should be done. I watched him. I shot him, he eased down, tail started flickering, and eased over across the creek, and it's wet this morning, so I can't hear nothing, but I heard a couple big limbs break, but I'm gonna give him plenty of time, folks. I'm telling you, I'm so tore up. I told everybody this year, that was my dream buck. If I could kill one buck, that would be it. And Lord, why he blesses me, I'll never know. Can't believe it's the blood of Hightower on an arrow in my quiver. Buck I've been after for 4 years, and on trail camera or in real time, I've never seen him in the daylight until this morning. But once again, I just want to apologize. You have no idea how hard we try to lay down good footage for you folks. I mean, seriously, I've hunted almost every day this season, even with being at work. So, I mean, we've been trying really hard, but you just can't pass up an opportunity on a giant like that in my part of the country with a bow. You just can't do it. But we are gonna give this deer all day, as you can tell. I hit this deer. This arrow was completely soaked earlier. It's got a little worn off where I've been walking through the brush, but it's really kind of dark, granulated blood. I knew that where I placed that arrow, I hit right exactly where I was aiming, behind that shoulder, but I think I hit it was center mass, but it was a little bit back, and I think I got mostly liver. So I'm gonna give that deer all day. But when we go retrieve this deer, Lord willing, we're gonna take you with us on the recovery. It ain't gonna be no scripted scene. We ain't gonna walk up on it and be, oh, look at this, and have it all laying nice and pretty. We're gonna walk up on it real time with y'all and take you with us, and you'll see this deer for the first time just like we will. And I make it a little emotional. I've been after that deer for so long. That was my dream buck, so I've been hunting all my life to kill a deer like that. So hopefully, good Lord willing, he's laying across the creek in a briar thicket dead right now. But it's gonna be one restless day. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we'll see what happens.
When you shoot a deer like that, your first instinct is to go after a deer like that. But Richard was smart enough to realize and know that, time is on your side. So the longer you can let a deer go like that, the better off you are. You don't want to push a deer like that. And, if the deer's dead, he's dead. He's not going to go anywhere. So it was a long day. And, to keep ourselves occupied, we went to church after the hunt. And then we went and shot a sporting clays tournament. So we had plenty to keep us occupied and keep us out of the woods. But, that afternoon about 4 o'clock, we just couldn't take it anymore, and we had to go find this buck. So let's pick up the track job.
Okay, folks, here we are, and it has been one long day, let me tell you. I shot that buck at 8 o'clock, just after 8 o'clock this morning. It is just a little after 4 right now. You may think I'm crazy for waiting that long, but I wanted to give him more than plenty of time, because a liver shot deer can last anywhere from 6 hours or longer. Actually, I had a shooting tournament I had to go attend today, and I went and shot, so that kind of helped keep my mind off things. But let me tell you what, there wasn't a station where I wasn't thinking about this thing the whole day. So we're gonna go in here. I'll pick up the blood where we left off this morning, which is right there by my arrow. And we're gonna go see what happens. We're gonna go with this slow. Hopefully, find the biggest buck I've ever shot in my life. Well, okay, everybody, here we are. We're at the last place where we checked for blood, which is not 10 yards from where I shot it. It's really the first place he hit the ground after I shot him. So here's some blood down here on these leaves. There's a splotch there, and it's going this way. Right down here's where I saw him cross the creek. So we're gonna go down there and look, and he did not look to be in good health when he hit that creek. So let's take it real slow. And by the way, this is all real time. We ain't been down through here, so you're seeing this for the first time just like I am. Here's a bed. Here's another bed. With that, I let that deer lay plenty of time. He's bedded twice when he came back. Here's another bed. I don't see how this deer's going. Here he is. Here he is, folks. Right here. Oh, folks, listen. I may get emotional here. I have waited my entire hunting career to walk up on a deer like this. Look at what a buck. Look at what the size of this deer. It's not a real giant, but it's a 6.5-year-old buck.
Oh my gosh, bub. What a stud.
Oh, folks, he's a little stiff. Hold on, I'm trying to loosen his neck up for you. Folks, I can't tell you how proud I am of this deer. I cannot tell you how proud I am of this deer.
What a
Oh,
giant.
look, come over here and look at the formation on this side.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that. I can't barely get my hands around that. He's not very wide, but he's just an old buck. Look at the size of that nose. He's got a big old kicker off his GT back here. Now, I'll tell you something. We kind of kept this from everybody this year, but there was a couple big deer that we were watching. And this was one of them, and this was actually the buck that I was going after this year, and I never dreamed. I've never seen this deer in daylight, ever. And I mean, we've been watching him for 4 years. I've spotlighted him several times, observing fields, and I've got him on trail camera a lot this year, but I've never, ever seen this deer in daylight. And when he strolled down through there this morning, I almost couldn't believe it. Just an old giant. This deer's 6.5 years old, people. I've been watching him for 4 years. Just a brute. Look at the body on him. Look at the size of his neck compared to me. I mean, what a buck. He's got some marks. He's been fighting already, missing some hair. But he's just an old warrior, a ghost on this farm. And like I said, I didn't want to spread the word too much that I was seeing him a lot this year, but I never dreamed I'd see him before right like this. What an absolute pig. I mean, you know, some people may not think he's a real monster, but to me, that's a buck and a half right there. All I got to say is, there's one person I got to thank, and that's the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing this deer to come down through the other day. I thought, to be quite honest with you, I didn't think I was going to get a shot on him, but I said a little prayer in the stand as I saw him crossing the hill. And as soon as I said that prayer, folks, he turned and he come right down there, right into the only shooting lane I had in that area. I just tears me up. Got it with the new Matthews Creed limited edition. Tell you what, folks, it's a killer. What a deer.
Proud of you, buddy. That's a stud.
What a deer.
Well, like I said, it's a really exciting story on that deer. A lot of history with that buck, and to see a buck like that on October 20th on its feet was really kind of a shocker. But hey, you can't kill them sitting at home watching college football, so you got to get in the stand. And hey, the weather's right, everything's turning, and these deer are on their feet. I mean, it's time to get after it. And and that's exactly what we've been doing and exactly what we're going to continue to do. Again, I apologize for not getting that shot on tape, but again, hey, being in the tree stand with my son and seeing him kill a deer that he's been hunting for so long, and see him achieve something like that in a sport he's so passionate about, that's worth more to me than any video or any website or any show. And those things can all go away, but that memory of being there at that place and time, nobody can ever take that away from me. And that's what means the most to me. And I'll beat the drum. I'm gonna beat it until I can't beat it anymore. That is exactly what memories and hunting are made of. Get out there, get with your family and friends, enjoy God's great outdoors, and hunt them deer, because hey, time's gonna pass you by. Don't let it slip you by and take it for granted. So it was a good week, a good hunt. It's just gonna get better from here. Stick with us, and as always, don't forget to roll hot, everybody.